Maintenance on a vehicle is something that should be done on time regularly, or it can easily turn into a more costly and time-consuming repair. So whether that's oil changes or steering or suspension components, or even brakes. Yeah, you don't want to wait this long. We got some stuff to talk about. If you look on the backside of this rotor, well, I guess if you imagine that there still is a backside, because this is actually the middle. These are the cooling fins. It has not only worn down through this, it has also completely detached from the hat of the rotor, or the mounting area. So effectively, there's no more braking or stopping power on this corner of the vehicle. Zero. This rotor is floating. The hub is spinning around the rotor. So yeah, there's some damage caused here for sure. You might be asking, how do I know that it's time to replace my brakes before it's too late? Well, there are multiple ways of detecting that it's time, and one of the most common ways is to listen for the wear indicators on the pads. Or certain cars actually have brake pad wear sensors. Regardless, most cars will have wear indicators, which are a thin metal tab that sticks out of the pad, which, when the pad wears low enough, will contact the rotor, making a squealing noise. That squealing noise does not mean stop immediately and do the brakes right now. It means schedule that repair for very, very soon. So if that was me, I would go to oneauto.com, get myself a brake kit, which means pads, rotors for both sides, and do them at my earliest convenience. That way, I only replace the pads and the rotors, and nothing else will be damaged. Because if you wait too long and time goes by after you've heard that squealing noise, the about 2 to 3 millimeters that is left on the pad once that noise starts will be completely gone. The pad wears out pretty quickly at that point, so it'll start contacting the metal backing of the pad to the metal of the rotor. Metal on metal brakes are not a good thing, because not only does it sound horrible, but it also generates a lot of heat, and the braking efficiency of that corner of the vehicle is significantly reduced. And all of this can cause damage to other components, so now you're looking at replacing a caliper, or even a brake hose with a caliper and the brake pads. You want to avoid all that by doing your brakes on time. Now, before we take apart the side that has the rotor completely broken off, let's take apart the side that's still together, I guess, but it's still very damaged. So let me explain after I take the caliper off. Yeah, that's metal on metal brakes right there. And this inner pad has no more pad material left. It's just the backing of it. It's basically just grinding the metal pad up against the metal rotor, which is one step before what happened on that side. This rotor is completely compromised. It is severely damaged from the metal pad grinding up against the rotor. This almost looks like a bunch of record grooves in here, and it wouldn't play very nice music if this was a record. This is gonna make some horrible noises driving down the road. Taking a closer look at this caliper, we can see that the outer pad still has some material left. The inner one is the only one that is completely worn out. So this tells me, because the pads move freely, that it's actually the slider pins that are seized and have caused all of this. Now, yes, the brakes would still need to be replaced, but the slider pins being stuck has caused more damage than there should have been. So let's go to the other side and take the rest of that rotor off, because, you know, half of it is already, well, not attached. Okay. Yeah. There's the rotor. Oh, wow. The rotor has actually started chewing through the piston of the caliper, because the piston went so far. This is just, wow, that is extreme. I mean, look at how thin the pad is here. This, or you know, whatever's left of it. This is paper thin. There are rust pieces falling off of the pad. It is breaking apart in my hand. With a situation this extreme, it is important to replace everything that was affected, or you'll have more issues after you're done with the repair. So we're not only going to put new brakes on this, but also parking brake shoes, calipers, and brake hoses. That will refresh everything, especially this being a truck. It's meant to haul and tow heavy, so you want to make sure that you can also stop. And this is where 1A Auto comes in very handy, because with the kit that covers all of the parts that I just mentioned, we can go from this to this. And now this truck is safe again, because it was scary. With this truck fixed right, it is safe to go back on the road again. And I just want to emphasize how dangerous this situation was. It was this close to losing its brakes. Because here's what happens. When the piston of a caliper extends far enough, it'll pop out of the caliper. Back here is where it's sealed up and has pressure from the brake fluid. These pads wore so thin and the rotor wore so much that it was about to pop out. The only thing that kept it from completely popping out of the caliper is the fact that the rotor broke. And when this broke, it actually wasn't spinning and therefore causing the brake pads to wear even more. Because a little more worn on those brake pads, and there would have been way too much wiggle room in there, piston would have popped right out with one firm brake application, and the truck would not stop anymore. So this is why I wanted to emphasize how important it is, especially when it comes to safety items like brakes, to do them when you know you need them. And do not put this off. Yes, if the squealers make noise, you can drive for a few more days or however long it takes you to get those brakes, but don't wait any longer, because it can become a serious safety concern.